appreciate each and every one of you that is tuning in this morning, and each of every one of you that are part of the 48,000 plus subscribers now to the channel. Seeing that number is just an inspiring thing, just to continue to see the growth, even if it's slowly building here in the last several months. I think we're identifying not just a market structure, but we're identifying a great direction for this community going into 2026. And I think we're further expanding on just a clearer and more assertive way of doing this. Especially something I learned in 26 is not to, let's just say, over raise my voice to where I feel like I'm yelling at you or you feel like I'm yelling at you, and instead tuning it down, and now we talk with each other instead of at each other. And I think that's been a good change here over the last couple of months. But that's neither here nor there. I think the most important topic of discussion, I kept it very simple in the title today: XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, bear market, ? And then I said why we should be talking upcoming crypto bull run. And then I said mining stocks update, because I want to go through mining stocks. At some point during this live, gold and silver are showing us that a lot of people are eyeing the risk off right now. And it seems to line up perfectly. And that's the, that would be the risk on, like crypto has taken that little fall from yesterday. XRP, you can say one thing, that it's very predictable within the price movement. And you do have to go from several different directions to identify the exact micro, within the macro micro, and the actual micro. But it's been pretty universally acceptable. Yesterday we talked about if we lost that. In real time, it was 211.27. It started at 212. But as we went on to the nighttime live, it was around 211.27. Talked about if we lost that, it would be an immediate drop. Nothing in between that 5 cents. It would just be that's the next micro support. And now it's even evolved down to $2.05 as it continues on. And this will continue as the days go. What the hell happened here? Oh, there we go. Ah, crap. It deleted my ball. I think it's just having a... There might be a lot of people looking at TradingView this morning, but we do need to look at this real quick. Because when you set this up, it gave us a very clear, very understanding reason why this was happening. We initially got rejected. We broke down out of this very micro consolidation, tried to create a V-shaped recovery, got rejected at this 220 level, right at the 200-day and the 3-hourly, and better yet, in the 4-hourly. It's starting to cross through, but we never actually, except for up here, where we got rejected, never were able to come through. And that was the first optic yesterday. Like, uh-oh. Even though we were above that 212, 211, we were below that back test that we needed to have a rejection to continue to drop down, or we needed to overtake this small zone. And I know it can be confusing. I understand there's a lot to technical analysis, but this was a key indicator right here. When we got rejected, and I didn't have this overextended, we did that during the live, just so you can see how it would have looked. But the overextension I like to do, because when you get rejected at a spot like this, when you're trying to show bearish or a bullish continuation, this would be a bearish continuation in this case, you can overextend the pattern. And now you've got the uptrending support line that is used as resistance, and you have the downtrending resistance that you got to try to keep as support, and then it becomes an inside-out wedge, and then whichever side in prevailing, the bearishness is prevailing. Which I'm not, honestly, going into the 9th and 10th next week with the rate cut decision, or the federal funds decision, when Jerome Powell speaks on the 9th of December, we'll get the decision on the 10th of December. I think we should be selling out before. We want this to drop before that rate cut happens. That's what we want. That's what we want. So I think this is all going right. I think the optics here should not be talking about the bear market. I think we should be talking about the positioning for the upcoming bull run. I think this is a little different. We haven't been in a full-blown bull market yet. Everybody keeps saying the 4-year cycle, the 4-year cycle. Outside of Bitcoin and XRP and maybe a few others, what 4-year cycle did we have? Ethereum didn't have a 4-year cycle. It never made a new high. I mean, it might have made a brief... Did it even make a new high from 21? I don't remember. But I can tell you it didn't go into an unequivocal bull season here. If everybody's talking about crypto being in a bull run because we came up from these lows of 22, well, that's not a bull run. This would be the greatest bear market hoax of all time. This would be a bull trap of epic proportions. And it would remind me, if this failed, this would be the same exact bull trap that we had back here. May of 21, got rejected, came all the way back around. Everybody thought we were going crazy in November, and then it was done for years. We did the same thing. Everybody thinks it's good. Made a new high here in December of 24. Made a bigger high at 5,000, but it was really just a topping from back here. And if this were to fail, this would be an extended back run. And that's why I have it set up like this, because if it were to go into an extended bear market run, it would have to break down this pattern at 2,450, and Ethereum would have to end up down here at 1,500. Is that going to happen? Hopefully not. Nobody wants a crypto winter right now, because that means we could be in the forever winter. People don't understand what I'm trying to say here. Once regulations and deeper restrictions come, you very well might have went through your bearish or your bullish positioning over the last 15 years in crypto. It's not like it started yesterday. You're talking 2009, 10, 11 is when it started the epiphany. By 14, 15, the alt tokens were coming very strong. By like 17, meme tokens were just out of control. By 21, it was just all hands on deck. By 25, they're talking about regulation by enforcement. By 27, 28, no one's going to want to trade crypto. I've seen this before, and we'll see it again. We have new exchanges that are popping up that are backed by the CFTC, which, again, that's going to lose a lot of volatility in crypto. It's an eye-opening event, but it's still it evolves crypto in the wrong way. Like, you want to see evolution away from control. We're begging and running for control. And that's why this environment is never going to be how we want it to be, especially the closer we get to 28. That's why I think we're trying to position ourselves for this one final blow-off. Everybody thinks it's just getting started. Well, when you start introducing ETFs in the stock market, you don't need to trade crypto anymore in the traditional sense. I can go in the stock market now, and I can go, hell, I could trade Bitwise and have exposure to Ethereum, to the single largest Ethereum holder. I could just go to Tom Lee's company, and I could just buy, Bitmine immersion technology, and I would have exposure to Ethereum in the same way. And if we have a move up, it's probably going to move 2 or 3 times faster than Ethereum. So it's we don't want the Clarity Act. That completely defeats the purpose for our risk assets. That's what I'm trying to tell everybody. Oh, this Clarity Act is the big deal. No, this is the big kick in the dick. So once this bull cycle ends, if we can even get there, that's what's going to end up stopping us. Everybody's got it backwards. That Clarity Act is shit. That Clarity Act, I might as well just wipe my ass of crypto once that passes. No joke. Good morning. 9:36 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Friday, December 5th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. When you get further crypto regulations and they come on, prices aren't going to go where people think. In what market have you ever seen a regulated market where the prices exorbitantly go unrealistically crazy to the top side? So I know they're going to pass it. That's 100% guaranteed. Why do you think they're passing the ETFs before they pass the Clarity Act? Just ask yourself that. That's so the institutions don't have to deal with the bullshit of a regulated market in crypto, and they can just go trade the stock market where there's a lot more advantages. And the tax code and everything else is more easily done, and there's easier ways to get around things. So, from that perspective, why would any of the institutions? But I'm not going to go into the rant. Not going to lie, the rant into the intro is my favorite part. I usually sneak it in the beginning, and then we get into the nuts and bolts, don't we? The Canvas podcast. But thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XP Predictor. Seen your beautiful content the other day too. I think everybody should check it out on your channel here on YouTube. Take a look, everybody. Also, XRP fam, Poppy Lou, thanks for being in Tom's Army 6+ months with the XP Predictor. MQT, thanks for being a very trust minded here on the Telegram, along with Crypto Cooter, and being in Tom's Army for over Crypto Cooter 6+ months, MQT 3+ months. 1970 Legend, thanks for being a very trusted mod in here, and also in the Tom's Army for over 1 year at the I Told You So badge. Love it. 24/7 markets blockchain. You think that's the real deal, guy? I 100% will make a wager that I can't wager because I'm not a gambler anymore. But I didn't. I even resisted the temptation to gamble at the Lions game yesterday. I refused to download the app again. I made a commitment. But I will tell you, once regulations come in crypto, I guarantee you it's going to be a 24/7 stock market trading event. The stock market's going 24/7, everybody. What you got to say about that? The main reason we get added liquidity in crypto is because it's a 24/7 market. What happens when the stock market goes 24/7? Have you asked yourself that? I'm just curious. Has anybody ever played devil's advocate? Because the framework's already in place for a 24/7 market in crypto. I mean, in the stock market. Dow, NASDAQ, Russell 2000. Texas Stock Exchange opens 26. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Nope, I talked about WEX. I warned about it a couple weeks. Well, I think last week was a big warning too. I tried to verify the account and they said it's restricted here and we're not allowed to use it there. Even when I tried to verify it, because I tried to do a KYC, once I clicked on United States, it's like your IP address is not allowed. And basically, it told me that we're restricted in this region and it gave a big warning on why. And yeah, that's why I talked about it last year. Yeah, I would just, if you have to, I had to sell my Linea and send the money to KRAKEN. Fortunately, it worked. But I have since deleted the account, and it takes 30 days to fully go away. But yeah, that was a pretty eye-opening moment with that exchange as well. So I don't know if you're going to be able to send anything off, if I'm being honest. You might have to just sell and then do it. Yep, convert it, then send it. They're lucky they're letting you send it out in the US with the restricted IP now. That's how all these are. That's why I'm just trading on the tier 1 exchange with Fireblocks. Anyhow, beyond that, Bitcoin's about to lose 90K. We're in a very, very finicky spot here in the crypto market. Now getting a rejection on this FVG is not a good sign. This looks like a possible reversal going into the weekend. And what the hell is going on here? Why isn't it showing? There we go. The daily is way overblown now. That's my biggest problem going into the weekend. That daily time frame is overbought. So from the weekly, you want to start positioning when it's oversold, but you also want to have a very keen eye if you haven't invested yet on that daily time frame, stochastic RSI. Yeah, we're going to lose so much volume with the ETFs. I don't think everybody realizes. ETFs are not good for the crypto market. I don't know why everybody buys into that nonsense. If I told you that $10 billion was going into an asset class and we're running it, we're the asset managers, there's $10 billion coming into it, let's just say. Well, all of a sudden, our asset management becomes a little tricky because the same asset we're dealing with, another proposition comes up to where the money we manage now, it can be used for the same objective, but they've now started a separate market where our asset management was of clams. Well, they started bulk clam ETF. And I go, what the fuck is this bulk clam ETF? We're selling these clams. We're doing great. We're a $10 billion asset management firm for these clams. What the hell is going on here? ETF clam, bulk clam ETF. So you're telling me I don't even need to buy the clams to get exposure to the clams, and I have security by FDIC backing to make sure my funds are safe? Well, I'm not investing in the clams with this asset management firm. I'm going to go buy the ETF myself where I can manage it myself and have the same exposure to these clams without all the underlying risk of getting a rug pull. And even if we did, at least it's backed by the FDIC. You know, that's what's going on with crypto. Why would you trade a market that's becoming extremely overrun with bullshit and politics? Why would you trade this market if you can go get exposure to these tokens in an ETF and not have to worry about the exchanges stealing your money? Or worry about the cold wallets creating a back-end hack into your wallet? Or Or why not worry about these bullshit hackers in crypto where they're I mean, that's the point. So now I'm going to go buy the clam baked ETF or whatever the hell I called it, because now I get the same exposure to those damn clams they're catching, but I don't even have to do anything. I don't have to have the risk on the boat. I don't have to have the ability of them stealing my clams. Not your clams, not your key, or not your clams, not your shells, not your whatever the fuck you want to call it. But on an ETF, I don't need to own the clam. I'm buying into the company that owns the clams. That's my point. This is not good. I've talked about that the cycle was over as we know it. When did I say it, everybody? When did that rug pull start? I'm waiting. January? What did I say in January? 11 months ago, to the dismay of everybody who was watching me. It was the cycle flip. That's all I'm saying about these ETFs. Like, why would I invest in the clam company if I don't have to have that negative exposure and I could still have the exposure of the clams? It's the point. Now that I didn't speak about it in crypto, people might not get so mad. So either way, we're getting the clams. Either way, we're invested in the same venture. It's just I don't have to take the risk of the shady nonsense in crypto. That's what's scaring me now, because I've already landed up for myself where I said, you know what? If I don't want to have all this exposure, like, I would never own Ethereum. But if things got to the right positioning, I've been watching this Bitmine immersion technology for a long time. And if it got where I thought, and this had an artificial all together breakdown, and this dot cross happens, and we end up coming back down here to like $8 or $10, I'm gonna have a very hard time, even if it's at 5, I'm gonna have a very hard time putting some of this money into crypto when I can just buy these ETFs, when I know for a fact that they're going to have their day up and down. And if you buy them at the lows, you're going to, let's just put it this way. If this goes down with Ethereum and we go into these lower lows, right, and we continue this progression, by the time Ethereum's ready to move, let's say it moves 150%, this Bitmine immersion technology will move 500. We've seen it with Michael Saylor's shit company with MicroStrategy. Well, he's not even, because they have to have optics. Crypto went up 8, 10x. This fucking company went up 15, 20, 25x. So you didn't even have to invest in crypto. You just had to invest in the companies that are taking the chance on this piece of shit crypto now. It's the truth. And I'm starting to realize, because that's how it used to be in the stock market. Why buy physical silver when you could buy the ETF when it was volatile? That's what some people used to say when it wasn't moving. But the ETF, when you had a move in gold or silver, the ETFs would move so much more because they were weighted heavier. And it was like having a little bit, like some of the ETFs, like what if you couldn't buy all of the miners in gold and silver? There's some ETFs out there that have a combination of 15 different miners. You can get exposure to copper, physical silver, physical gold, physical platinum, palladium, uranium, so you don't even have to own the individual risk. But if it's the cycle good time, these ETFs kill it in gold. And like, that's what we're getting with crypto. So everybody who keeps telling me that this stupid fucking Clarity Act is good for crypto, miss me with it, please. I'm getting fucking agitated that we don't understand. Like, how can we invest in an asset? How can we do things in life and not understand what the fuck we're doing? Excuse my French. But we're burying ourselves with not understanding. All these people that are feeding you the information, oh, these are great. No, they're not. If they're so great, well, I mean, if you want all this liquidity, I keep asking where all of this money's coming to crypto to put us to these artificially ridiculous prices that everybody always says. Well, if you're taking money voluntarily out of the market and throwing it into the stock market via ETFs, that's all liquidity coming from the crypto market. All the people that don't like crypto, like me now, I invest in it, but there's becoming easier ways for me to get. I like crypto as a whole. I don't like the market. It's too rigged against us, and the fact that these exchanges aren't loud, they're not honest. And you've seen it from tier 1 exchanges to no KYC exchanges to restricted to unregulated to regulated to all this other nonsense, to where at the end of the game, unless they let us ID us with our actual driver's license, state ID, whatever your case may be, passport, you've got no actual link to it. And you can say whatever you want about it being in a wallet or whatever, but without it being attached to your name, All they have to do is wipe you out and say you can't log back into this account and wipe your database and then just put it. It's a scary game right now. This is a scary game, especially with this Clarity Act, especially with all of these ETFs. You think it's by design these prices are going down? We talked about when these ETFs come out, they go down by an average of 20 to 30, as much as 65%. XRP hasn't gone down 65% yet since these last ETFs on the start of the week. We're fucked right now. Does that mean you go liquid? The daily time frame suggesting right now that if you were going to make that move, you're probably within that move time frame. I'm not a financial advisor, so what the hell do I know? And you shouldn't be listening to me. This is just what I think is happening. We're not looking good. 4 hourly is way oversold. It's about the only thing that looks good. Weekly being oversold good, but this daily time frame leading into the weekend's not going to be good. 48% of you hitting the like button, or 52% now. That's not very good. Are you not liking my update? 68 out of 128. YouTube's certainly not going to push this content around. I mean, they're not going to want to anyhow because it's the truth. But, we'll see what happens here. But I don't like the fact we got rejected right now at 92,385. I don't like the fact that daily isn't looking strong. It's looking weak as hell. I don't like the fact we're going into a thinly traded weekend. I don't like the fact that all these ETFs are lining up and opening up every single day. I don't like the fact that December 9th starts the 2-day rate cut meeting because they're not raising rates. I'm telling you right now, if they raise rates right now, I'm out of crypto for some time. Let's just put it that way. If they raise rates, I'm out of crypto. Period. I couldn't even describe it enough, because over the next 3 to 4 weeks before they do the next emergency or whatever in January, February, the crypto market's going to lose 65% if that happens. So you want to know one way for me to easily not be in this market? A rate hike. I don't care how much quantitative tightening they're doing or ending and going into easing. A rate hike would be the nail in the coffin for risk assets right now. A rate cut by 50 with the allure of this quantitative easing would be phenomenal for crypto. So I say, as bad as it looks now, don't give up. As bad as it feels, because it feels bad and it's supposed to feel bad. This is supposed to feel bad. This isn't supposed to be easy. The next drop for XRP, if this happens, do we have a lot of hope at $1.98 maybe, or $1.77 to 82? But it suggests $1.85. So I just want to make sure we're on the same page. That's all. I think we're on the same page. I think more people now than even in January, even though I've been doing this since March of 2021, March 24th of 21, and I haven't missed a day of, not one day coming on here. I think more people are starting to understand the philosophy now, like, oh, wait a minute. We can't just buy the dip to buy the dip. Because if we're buying a dip to buy the dip, after an artificial run-up, it's not a dip. It's not a dip. And like, again, with these drops, because some things are at that make it or break it point where it's going to sell out of my stuff, it's going to reconfine my portfolio again. Like, if this happens again, and it forces me out of certain things, there may never be a rebuy back in DAG. This may be the end of the line there. There may be the end of the line for other things here. That's the point. XDC, algo would just be even more involved. But I think we're all getting it now. Well, I'll have to look into that, Zoli. I'm going to take a picture of this so I can do some research after the live. Thank you for that information. I had no idea. That is great information. Says, Mr. Tom, look into Waba wallet. That's the official wallet for XPR. Yes, it's KYC. Excellent. It is by design, my friend, but you have every right to be sick of it. You have every right to be sick of it, because they told you a big lie at the beginning of the year saying that crypto, gold, or Bitcoin and all that was better than gold, silver, mining stocks. They told us this to our face. I got news for you. I told them they were full of shit. And I told all of you they were full of shit in January. And I told all of you to buy crypto before that move up in November of last year. I was building everybody in for that big run. And then I told everybody 2 months later after the run started to get the fuck out. I was the only person in the entire crypto space that came on that day when everybody was having an orgasm and said, You see everybody on TikTok telling you to buy. You see how the local gas station attendants telling you it's a bull market and it's going to go up to oblivion. Remember when I was telling you to buy and everybody said this was shit? Well, we're screwed. It's over. But I can tell you a sector that's going to go parabolic. And we talked about gold, silver, and mining stocks on that beautiful, I believe, January 18th or 20th day of this year, just 12 short months ago. Gold, silver, mining stocks have gone parabolic. Crypto, but everybody told you the opposite. Now all the Johnny come latelys are coming in telling you we're in an extended bear market. Well, that's great, but you just told us to buy when it was 75% higher. Thanks a lot. Now I'm broke. So that's right. Plant Good Seeds. Thanks for being in Town Zone for your first month with the emoji badge and me being abducted by aliens. Says that is a very good principle. A dip is not a dip. Know the cycle you are in. Absolutely. Because sometimes the dip that's supposed to be the dip is just, that's just bringing it back down to reality. And then the dip actually comes after it comes to reality. But I'm still banking on this being a big distraction. I don't think it's over. I don't. I think we have to have mental toughness because I still think we're going to get one more run here before all this clarity nonsense comes into place. That Clarity Act comes in. The moment they sign that is the moment that I highly consider never trading crypto. And if I have something, never selling or trading it. Oh, there's a reason for that. So that Clarity Act is basically our ticking time bag of how much I'm willing to trade crypto and how much I'm going to switch out to the ETFs and stuff like that. I'll still be trading crypto by design, just in a much more confined way without all this nonsense. Like this daily looks awful right now. Like I don't want to be that guy, but we made a new low today. Reversed completely. Failed to make a new high yesterday, which is from the day before. But we made a new low today. We've talked about the very honest and let's just put it this way. It's very, very important for us not to make a lower low here before we make a higher high. Oh, it's extremely important right now. Because when we're coming down here, we go, right? So we're like, hey, we got a low or a high, a lower high. We have a series of low, lower low, lower low. Now we would love to put in a higher low and then a higher high. Now, unfortunately, if we put in that lower low now, you're starting to talk about starting to come to these pretty low levels now. Because now to make a lower low, we're going to have to come back below $1.82, which means $1.77, which means even below that, it's targeting $1.85 on this first drop, which means if we're going for a lower low, that's not going to hold. So we don't want to make a lower low here. A lower low before a higher high right now would be devastating. Past couple Fridays have been bullish. Yes, but a little bit. And the 4-hourly, which is ironic, is severely oversold, which suggests that we should have some kind of reversal still. I'm not Mr. Bearish right now. I'm Mr. Obvious. I'm paying attention to everything it's throwing me, but I'm taking advantage of this market. Every opportunity it gives me, I'm taking advantage of it. I don't think this is a trader's market, though. I don't think this is a leverage market, and I will never trade leverage again in crypto. That's a promise. Because I'm not playing into their game. I think from a spot position, we can do just fine. And I think we can control this from a 1x standpoint. We don't need it at 10 times the speed or 50 times the speed. Oh, I see we got a troll here. You trying to get people to sell all their crypto while I make a video. Oh, you're trying to promote yourself and being an asshole? Well, I'll block you because I don't need you. Ha! Trying to promote yourself while misrepresenting what I do? That'll never get you anywhere. You're going to learn very hard that way, dickhead. Goodbye, Tiana. But yeah, that's just the way it goes. If you misrepresent what I'm doing and then you try to promote yourself, that's like you just snapped your own neck. That's not a warning. That's not a timeout. That's get the fuck out of my community. trying to make a real honest video here. And guess what? You get dickheads like that try to ruin it. So now someone's going to watch this and go, you know what? This guy's just full of shit and he's trying to get us to sell our crypto. Hello? What have I said this entire time? I didn't sell my crypto that I'll have right now. We've been building into it on these big drops. When I told you to sell it was in January, Tiana. I mean, seriously. Do you watch? Do you listen? Do you pay attention much? Or do you just want to promote your garbage? You don't ever go into somebody's community who's been dedicated for almost 5 years without missing a day and has been as more honest than anybody you could ever meet and try to promote your own shit. Now come in here and be cool and we can talk. I've promoted many people's stuff. I don't ask for anything. But why would you come in here and bash me and then promote your own video? That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Learn public relations and learning. Like, that's just stupid. That's like me stealing your gas out of your car and asking if you need a ride because your car's broken down. Like, seriously. You got to have better integrity than that. But anyhow, so if we break down, and this channel did break, I mean, yeah, you would be looking at somewhere around $1.24. But if this channel, no, I wanted to make a strong point for the next person who does it. There's no warnings anymore. My community is going to flow the way I want. And if I don't like you because you're being a dick, I'm just going to ban you now. 2026, I'm not dealing with all the small people. That's a promise I've made to all of you and myself. So anyhow, we've got this uptrending support that I think is still attached a little bit here at $2. But this is like that $1.98 area we talk about. Because once it breaks this area, I mean, it's a pretty... I don't know if there's much to hold us until $1.85, to be honest. Like, I know we've got that $1.77 to $1.82 underneath. I know we've got that $1.89 and 92 zone. MQT knows very well as well. But is it going to hold if we break this little... I mean, there's so many optics here, because this is just one of the ways to look at this that we built out over the last couple days, just so we could see everything from a macro to micro to even... But we've got other charts that represent it in their own right. But this getting a rejection here was very devastating because we had the breakdown, push back up, and it hit that rejection. The rejection that used to be support became resistance. What was resistance? We tried to use as support and failed, and now that is resistance as well. So he might ban me for my silly charts. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. What do you mean? He might ban me for silly charts. Are you talking about me? Thank you for not banning me. Why would I ban you? I don't understand. I'm just stupid to do this. Everyone hates me and my family if it wasn't bad enough already. Are you talking about for trading crypto? Oh, I was just wondering my yard now. But yeah, bright future. I'm just trying to... I see a lot of people are in a... This is what I was talking about. That's a shame. You're not too stupid to do this. Laura, you're not too stupid. I promise you. This is a very... Imagine getting a stack of cards and thinking it's completely random, but them having microchips in them, and the dealer knowing exactly what you're holding, or the rest of this, everybody at the table has a buzzer on their arm, and depending where it hits, they know if they have the better hand because of the microchip. So then they know how to bet. That's how it is in crypto right now. You're not stupid. You're just being lied to. You're actually courageous for coming here every single day and trying to figure this out. But there's so much liquidity above that it's going to have to prove to me that all of this breaks down before I am willing to say we're going into an extended bear market. I've already given you my parameters, everybody. But Lori, that is not true. I've seen ignorant people. You are not ignorant. You are trying. You are trying. Trust me. I may be XRP future millionaire, but you should see how my family looks at me with this stuff. They couldn't give a rat's ass. Honestly, I know how you feel. I've tried to give advice. I've tried to tell for years. And then once things happen, then they'll start to buy something and then they'll lose a lot because they buy it after a huge run when I've been telling them for years to buy the consolidation. Then they'll come back to me and say, see, this is why I don't like crypto. See, all a scam. And it's like, listen, that's great. And yeah, it very well might be a scam. There's no earnings, but there's certain rotations. Like right now, until this breaks and this bullish megaphone or megaphone at least gets invalidated, I don't believe anything it's showing me. I don't believe any of it. I think this is all one big optic until it breaks down. So I've been very clear. This is going to have to break down what looks like a megaphone and start to prove to me that that's not what we're in for me to be like, okay, maybe it's just, but we got a long ways to go still. Silver Days, thank you for the $5.89 donation. Super chat, how generous. Says Tom's Army for the win. Thanks, Tom, for your dedication and hard work. Tom brings the heat as always. I'm not trying to bring the, well, I do bring the heat, but at least I'm doing it in a nicer way. I'm not yelling. Some people tell me it's scarier now because when I'm talking, I used to get louder in my own personal life when I'd be passionate about something, and now I just talk like this, even when I'm mad. And I think it scares people now because I'm not getting all animated. And I'm just like, yeah, if you want to be like that, that's just, I don't appreciate it. I don't agree with it. And that's not a very integral move. As in the past, I'd be like, that's not integrity. And they'd be like, oh, you're getting all defensive. And now they can't use that. It's all about the way our outward appearances too, because we can kind of, I know I've changed the narrative here because people don't know how to react to me now because they're used to me being animated. And now I just talk like this. It's actually peaceful. I didn't know my loud voice would be this now. And then I can talk like this too, and it makes people really upset. Or I just stop talking and I become moot. Like, what? You really want my advice? You weren't listening to me before. And then you want to criticize. But yeah, it's one of those things. Liquidity at $3.14. Ooh, bold. Let's take a look. How long have we been in here? 37 minutes. Well, at least 132 of you stayed. Like, it couldn't have been that boring. I talked for 37 minutes like that. I really do talk a lot. So let's see. We'll start at Bitcoin with the heat liquidity map on the monthly. And then we will go to I'm telling you guys, until it breaks down, I am not convinced that we are bearish. My title for the person who said that I was telling everybody to sell, if you would just read my title, does it not explain exactly what we're talking about? It's hard to ignore that fact, MQT. Oh, it's hard to ignore. You know what else is hard to ignore for me, MQ? Going back to the lawsuit announcement of 2020, when XRP at 10.2 cents approximately, the fact that it's never, ever, ever even attempted to backtest that after a volatile spike back into the 20-cent range. Yes, I know Nog finally freaking broke out. I was not happy about it yesterday. But we knew yesterday that we blew an opportunity. Unless it's going to come back through. I talked about it when I was down here that unless it doesn't make that correction that it usually does, but I'm hopeful because of how oversold we are in the 4-hourly daily. I know the weekly's pushing up now, which is not in our favor, and the monthly was so oversold that I probably shouldn't have overlooked it. And that'll be my error to live with forever because it came down to exactly that $20 mark. And it came right down to the bottom of that consolidation. So if it broke out, it broke out, and there's nothing we can do about it. But I have to stay to my plan with oil. It's no different than I had with commodities, mining stocks, gold, and silver. When it was at a moment in the beginning, when it was around 18 to 2000, we thought it was breaking out. Then it went back to 16. I'm hopeful that black oil, or black gold, but obviously oil is black, so it's black oil, but black gold is going to end up breaking down, but this is a descending pattern. That's been our only concern. I was hoping it would break down and do what it always has done in its whole history before a big breakout. Came down here to the support structure in 09, broke out. Came down here to the support structure in 16, broke out. Came down and overzealously came down, but ended up holding the support structure in 20, broke out. Now I was waiting for it to come back down here and confirm another move down to confirm this big possible breakout of the 122 and then get up to that $250 a barrel. I'm waiting for that parabolic drop to have the unbelievable spike that I think is coming, especially with the inflation that's going to happen between the US dollar. So that pricing, I think, is going to have an unbelievable surge. It's all an illusion. I don't disagree with what you're saying, but this is my issue when we speak one side of politics over the other. So you said, and I appreciate you being in Tanzania for over 1 year, but don't mind me. I'm going to use you as a pedestal to something greater because you're a great person and I know you won't mind. It says inflation data came in line. Someone take away the president's phone. Let him go golf for a couple weeks. So that insinuates if Trump isn't there, that when the Democrats make the same decision, it's fine. Well, I got news for you. See, when we're on the right, we praise the right, and we crucify and vilify the left, and we don't have any regard for what the right's doing. We just blindly accept it. If we're on the left, we appreciate, accept, and blindly follow what the left says, and we crucify the right. But we never acknowledge that both sides are doing the exact same thing. It's just if you see the right as being right, you're going to crucify the left, and you couldn't give a crap what the right's doing. If you see the left as being the good people and the right being the vilifiers, well, the left can do whatever they want, and you'll stroke their dick, while the right's doing the same thing, and you're going to take it up the you-know-what. But if you were on the right, you'd stroke them while you were taking up the you-know-what from the left. I mean, it's the same stuff. It's the same stuff. Just like with race. If you're white and a white person does something, you'll be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. But if a black person does it, you'll say, oh. And you know what I hate when I see it? Everybody's like, usual suspect. When a white person says something a black person does, or a black person sees a white person do something, they go, usual suspect. No, those two people are racist, white or black. You just divided and allowed the government to conquer you because you're stupid on emotion. Don't talk like that. We're all people. So we got to stop that. We got to stop vilifying one side over the other. They're both villains. That's the point. Anyhow, I like how we just shot up here a little bit because we had to bounce off 206. We know that's important. Actually, it's 205 right now. Yep, MQT 100%. You are on the money. Labels just keep us divided. Like, look at us right now. Let's get out of race and politics. Crypto's the better store of value than gold and silver, which is an actual store of value. Right now, you got the divide between crypto and precious metals. They're supposed to be on a team. Me and my Indian brothers and sisters, African brothers and sisters, my Polish and Italian and Lebanese and, you know, just Greek and Mediterranean and, you know, Asian and Japanese and Chinese brother and sisters. You know, my friends from the UK and Australia and everywhere in between, the Netherlands. You know, we've got people everywhere. We're all supposed to be united, not divided. That's what this is all about. I've got races of every kind in my audience. I've got male, female, everything in between, I'm sure. But we're not focused on all of that. We're focused on this. We're focused on how to be evolved. We're not in front of everybody. So what does it matter? What does it matter if the person typing is black, white, Hispanic? It doesn't matter. If we all have the same mindset, who cares? If you're on the left or the right, aren't you each side of the fucking bird's wing or the devil's horns? I mean, it's an easy philosophy. We are all God's kids. And see? Who said that? Lucky guy. I appreciate you saying that. Amen. Don't, as Yahweh and Yahshua blesses us and watches and gives us guidance, I believe I become a vessel in these moments because I'm not sure what I'm saying. It just comes out. But God's amongst us. The spiritual world's behind us. I can't wait to start wearing my amethyst crystal when I start doing these, my pendant. Hopefully I'll be wearing it Monday or Tuesday. But I'm trying to bring some more divine order. So you're going to start seeing me wearing it. It's purple. I don't know what day I'm going to do it, but it's going to have a reason. Nothing fancy with the little necklace it has, but it's going to have the pendant. And it's an amethyst. And if you know anything about it, that's our connection to the spiritual world. And I think we could use divine intervention. And we do get it every single day. Bright Future Freedom, thank you so much for gifting a sub. I can't believe I've seen 2 gifted subs this morning. Kakali, Ali. Congratulations on getting that gifted sub from Bright Future and being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. And Bright Future, appreciate you being in Tom's Army 3+ months with the XP Meteor and a gifted sub. You are way too generous. You are way too generous. And Joseph Euler, thank you for not only being in Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XP Predictor, but continuing to give subs every so often here. Once every live or every other live, it seems like lately. Trying to get some good vibes out for the Christmas season, I would say. Because that's a great, generous thing. And congratulations to Degenerates 1971 for being in Tom's Army now for your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. And don't forget to thank Joseph for being so generous. And Kaki, Ely, don't forget to thank Bright Future if you're in here for that gifted sub as well. Very generous people. Hope, thanks for being in Tom's Army for your second month with the Dusty Dothouse Crypto News. Hope Botanicals, I really appreciate it. Hello, Las Vegas. It's all on a lose, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year at the I Told You So Bad. Said, I asked my wife if she's ever seen a dead body this morning, then I showed her the total 3. But I can tell you guys, one good thing about this is, remember when we were talking about the total 3, the others, and the total where it had to come down to? Can we be honest with ourselves? Shouldn't we be a little happier now because it did not break down, and in fact it held. It did not break down, it held, and now it's back testing the hold. We technically don't have to come down there. We were talking about the 877. We've come down here. We've come down to this level. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. Oh no, we can put this down here so we can see. But we came down here, and if we hold this, if we break down, but optics could say, with where we're sitting right now, if we hold these areas, even for a rate cut, maybe that pulls us from 849 back up to 1.2 trillion. And maybe this is a continuing rising wedge, but let's just say it is a rising wedge, which I'm hoping it's a triangle. But what if it is a rising wedge? That pulls us to February of 27. Long time. Which still supports the fact that we could have one more big rally before all this government interference with the Clarity Act and the Bend You Over Upside Down Act and the We're going to steal your crypto with back-end nonsense act and We're Your Friend Act. It's all an act. The Clarity Act, there's nothing clear about it. The only clear thing about it is it's going to break crypto. Ripple's XRP credibility skyrockets as spot filings soar. Another way to not be in the crypto market. They continue to soar. So filings for U.S. spot XRP exchange-traded funds are accelerating as institutions position themselves in 26. Is there going to be any money left for the crypto exchanges after all these ETFs is my question for all of you. I'm taking a chicken wing off my table for them. Please utilize the telly and gain knowledge with the gift. That's all I ask. Better yourself. Yes, I like that. I like that. I like that analogy. Bless you, Bright Future. You prescribe from the same the same logic. It's all on a lose end, says Tom. Do you know what they did with the escrow dump this month? Sorry if you've already covered it. What's a good DGB wallet? I tried the official DGB wallet and they stole my stuff. And then I had to go through a deep rabbit hole to find the creator of the wallet, who's actually the creator of Somecoin, which pisses me off that they did this. And all they did was he took Somecoin's wallet and he rebranded it or skinned it because that's what Digibyte Foundation told them to do. And they pass it off as their own Digibyte wallet, their official one, where they implore you on the Digibyte website to use that wallet because it's the safest. There is no good DGB wallet. I don't even own DGB anymore because of what happened, and I'm glad I don't because it's down 40% from that incident. So, bump up to 210, then 202 and 204. The best Digibyte wallet is none of them. I think I would run as far from Digibyte as I could. I did. You know, you got sometimes, guys, your own personal experience has to speak. I might have had a bias towards it because I like certain things that it did, but when the main fundamentals of it goes to shit, I'm not surprised it dropped 40% from that day at all. I just don't believe it anymore. If I can't believe it at the core fundamentals, I'm not investing in DGB even if it's easy to attain now. They broke my trust. They can suck my nuts. I'll never invest in somebody who steals from me or tries to steal from me. It'll never happen. Max Pain XRP price for bears revealed, 12 million at risk. The latest Max Pain readout from CoinGlass finally provides a clear picture of where leveraged traders stand on XRP. The situation is more balanced than the social media drama usually suggests. The short side carries, and I meant to get to this earlier, but it took me forever in this live to even get to this. The short side carries a larger dollar amount, and then before we leave, we'll go into liquidity map. With 12 million at the max pain line of $2.28.587. However, that level is far from the current price. XRP is trading at around $2.07, so the bears have a cushion of about 10% before they start to feel the heat. So pay attention. There's some liquidity of about 12 million for the shorts at 228. There is nothing urgent for them, just a clearly defined point they do not want the market to reach. The long side has the opposite problem. Their max pain marker sits nearly at the spot price, showing a distance of 0.91%. This means that any minor pullback, even within the slow range, will affect long exposure first. It does not matter that Bull's money stack is not as large as the short side, 7.59 million versus 12 million, because the pressure is closer and the market does not need a big move to test it. 228 becomes real pressure line for XRP price. The chart tells the same story as the numbers on the board. XRP has been slipping aimlessly on the 12-hour time frame, forming a pattern that appears neutral but keeps both sides on edge. If the XRP price increases and heads toward $2.20 to 30 cents, the short cluster will come into focus. Reaching 228 would be the first point at which bears would actually feel maximum risk and not just theoretically. Until then, the setup remains split. Longs face immediate proximity risk, while shorts carry a larger payout zone higher up. The indicator does not pick a winner. It only shows which level attract the most attention. For now, the real tension sits between the spot price and the $2.28 threshold. I will disagree with them in one way. I give the advantage to the bears because it's much easier to sell something you own than come up with money to buy a deal. Remember that. It's always easier for somebody to sell something they own at a loss than buy a good deal when they have no money. That makes sense? Josh Jolly, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XRP Meteor. Says, buy Tommy Jr. something. Ooh, I'll buy T3 something. I can't buy Tommy Jr. because I'm Thomas Speaka Jr. He's Thomas Speaka the third. And I know you don't want me to put it into my pocket. I'm going to buy him something. I'll buy him something nice. I'll let you know what it is. I've had some ideas for Christmas. This can be a Christmas gift from Josh. Ooh, I got to take a picture of this so I remember. I love taking pictures of stuff that happens during live. I already got a beautiful picture earlier from a suggestion somebody made about the XPR wallet. That's KYC approved. Don't think I forgot about that. I indeed did take a picture of that. There's some things that you just have to pay attention to, and then you have to do some research after. Who said that earlier? Zolam, if you're still here, talk about WUB AUTH wallet. It's official wallet for XRP or XPR, and it has KYC. So that's something. Exodus is good. I forgot about that wallet, old school. Oh, I remember the Raven coin. That's a blast from the past. Okay. So that's good. Right. Oh my God, 54 minutes. I think this has been a superb live with real world annotations to this. I think it gives a real understanding. So the liquidity heat map, I like to keep it in the monthly. We came right up to a very big liquidity zone that we didn't quite tap yet. It just got a little bit bigger here. You know what? Forget this. I don't want to do it in the monthly. I want to do it in the 2 weekly because we've been going all around. Man, it's going awfully slow this morning. Come on, TradingView. I mean, CoinAnk. I said TradingView. I'm blaming TradingView for my other problems. Yeah, I love this 2 week. You can see right here for the longs. They got liquidity zones down here that they could get wiped if it comes to 82, 83 again. Anywhere from like 84 down, it's pretty strong. Wow, there's billions of dollars in here if you max it out. Billions. Up here, I mean, we're pretty close to that top side as well. So until this breaks down, you can also see we talked about this potential. I got to go back to the Bitcoin chart because I don't think I showed it at all. Well, we talked a lot about this yesterday, and I was very happy to. Oh, it's on the other chart. That this could. Oh no, it's not. I like that. Forgot about those boxes. But we talked about. Oh yeah, we got to go into the short term, very short term. So that was on the other chart when we were talking about this. Wow, doesn't even seem up. Because this is a more universal push. I don't know. This is going to be interesting the way this plays out. If we stay over that 80,000, that's basically that threshold. Right now, we're coming up right now in the daily. We're retesting that 20-day, and that would be the death cross. And look, the problem is when the 20 crosses the 50, the exponential moving average, you have a bearish cross, right? Crosses 100, but when the 20 crosses 200, you have a death cross. That's your first visual that a death cross has occurred. When the 50 crosses the 100, you have validation. When the 100 crosses the 200, you have confirmation of full blown pattern reversal. That's where we're at right now. And we got rejected at the attempt back up. This was the biggest, worst rejection right here on November 11th. Because that's where it officially began. Like, for real. It had one chance to stop it, and now it's all coming unglued. Now, a rejection at the 20-day would be devastating. Anything other than right now coming over this 200-day is devastating. So, anyhow. Could be drawn out in inverse head and shoulders. We've talked about it. And this would be the way it had to set up the right shoulder. So, I mean, that could be happening. We'll take a look at the fear and greed index before we walk out. So, that's Bitcoin. And then we'll go Ethereum, XRP, crypto fear and greed index, and then we'll see the long short ratio because everything needs to be efficient. And then I'm out. I'll be out in the next like 5 to 10 minutes. Ethereum over the top around 3,200 is when it starts to get pretty interesting. And then down below, once you get below around 3,000 and then start cutting below, you know, especially when you get the biggest liquidity zone for Ethereum, ironically, is down here at 2,696. There's huge liquidity, almost 700 million just at 2,696, and it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Hi, Tom. Version of your 4-hour take on Community Hub piece. Let's see. Make this to where that's not there right now. Oliver sent this, right? Yes, he did. Oh, there you go. Perfect. Yeah, this is perfect. This is what, yes. This is perfect because this is, if you drew it out, this is exactly it. I like this. So you must have, you screenshot. This is perfect. I like this a lot. I like how you evolved. We're at 203. I like this a lot. So this is very similar to what I was saying. I like this. I like how you have the RSI, the stock RSI, and the MACD on there too. Gives you a little guidance. And you can see in the RSI, what do you have? The 14 yeah. Came bearish in the 4 hour. I like this setup. This is great. Yeah, this is great. Good job, Oliver. I'd encourage everybody to look at this on the Telegram and have a little conversation as well. That's great. You did a phenomenal job. Man, I love this so much. Ethereum Bitcoin pairing is going up. That's a good sign. Yep. I agree with everything you guys are saying in here too. Like, looking through all this is so cool. Every single day I learn so much too. I like your 618 over the top. Mm, mm, mm. Love it. God, there's so much information here. Like, look at this dedication MQ put in this. You guys, if you're not in the Telegram, you are seriously missing out. You are seriously missing out. This thing is growing into something unbelievable. Mm, unbelievable. And that chart you sent, um, Oliver, that's great. That's a great chart. And you've got all the micro levels in there. I love it. I love it. So, just because we're running out of time here, let's go into XRP. Strong zone up here at 228. I want to get into the monthly and see that $3 and something cent zone if it'll show it over the top. Remember someone talked about it earlier. Yeah, we can't get out there yet. But yeah, we're going to have to get through all of this. But there is a lot of liquidity over the top too once we get there. But 228 has 111. Who said 228? Was that MQ? Somebody talked about 228. But that's a big liquidity zone up at 111 million right now. So, but let's look at the Bitcoin long short ratio. Then we'll see the crypto fear and greed index, and then I can bid my farewell until later. So in the last 24 hours, 50.29% going short, 49.71% going long, 41.1 billion short, 40.63 billion long, which is about $500 million that you can capitalize on Bitcoin by going up rather than down. But as we've seen that we're closer to some liquidity zones on some of these, if the price barely moves down at all, long traders can get hurt. Because we're closer to the Mendoza line for them to make it or break it. Wow, look at that disparity. Holy shit. It's almost $2 billion right now on Ethereum. There's no way. Whoa. That's opened up a gap. 51.3% going short, 48.68% going long, 35.08 billion long to 36.98 billion long or short. That's $1.9 billion of capital that can be liquidated if the price goes up after this is all said and done. That's a lot of liquidity. I didn't realize it. Look at that, MQ. That's a wow. I know MQ might be happy about that and some others that understand. No, blessings to you, Oliver, and thanks for being in town on our 6+ months with the XP Predictor and sharing that information on the Telegram and the community section. That is awesome. To be able to show that in real time is pretty cool. Worth its weight in gold, but can't. Oh, it was in the article. Okay. 228 was in the article. That makes sense. I was going to say, I just remember seeing that. Thank you so much, Ledger. Nobody talks about the latest Ethereum update. I guess not. I guess not. I don't have a lot of faith in Ethereum. That's probably why. Fusaka or something. Well, we can take a look at that real quick. Fusaka. ETH. Ethereum activates Fusaka upgrade. Who shared that with us? Thank you, Paranomia. That's Panoramia or Paranomia. I can't say it. I say long wife says short, haha, trading humor. Well, I would assume that it was very cold water, and it's very cold outside right now, so the long short ratio might be off just a bit. Right? So the wife, she caught you at the cold moment. It's cold, I swear. Shrinkage is serious. Just ask George Costanza. Ethereum activates Fusaka upgrade, aiming to cut node costs, speed layer 2 settlements. At the center of the upgrade is PeerDOS, a system that lets validators check small slices of data rather than the entire blobs, reducing both costs and computational load for validators and layer 2 networks. So Ethereum activated its highly anticipated Fusaka upgrade on Wednesday, marking the blockchain's second major code change of 25. The update is designed to help Ethereum handle the increasingly large transaction batches coming from the layer 2 networks that settle on top of it. The Fusaka upgrade, also sometimes called a hard fork, was triggered at 21:49 UTC and finalized roughly about after 15 minutes, indicating that the code changes landed smoothly. Many of the core developers were gathered to celebrate the occasion on the Ethereum Staker livestream. Fusaka, a blend of names Fulu and Osaka bundles. That sounds like a teacher of Taekwondo, or even better, bundles two hard forks on Ethereum happening in tandem. One of the consensus layer and one of the execution layer. The former is where transactions and smart contracts run, while the settlement layer is where these transactions are verified, finalized, and secured. Let's see. Don't care. The improvement will take a few months before we play out, since we will only slowly increase the. Okay, so that's what we did. Pirdas was importance was such that during the initial development of the Fusaka upgrade, any feature that carried a risk of delaying the fork, such as those requiring more research or having high complexity, was deprioritized. Oh yeah, that's great. That's great. Let's just push this fork across, even with all the negativity that was associated with it. We're just not going to prioritize. We're going to deprioritize research stating that there's a problem. Oh, yeah, I feel even better about this update. What a fucking shit show Ethereum is. So now they're just pushing it through no matter what. This Fusaka is a joke. But no, the hard forks and all this nonsense. I don't trust Ethereum, so... You know what I trust? Gold. Gold! Up $45 an ounce today. Silver! Making history at $59, essentially. Come on, 5 cents so I can say it. Have I already been able to say it? I don't know. Probably. We're attempting $60 for the first time in the history of silver as we speak. I mean, $59 for the first time in the history of silver. Pan America Silver continues in all-time unprecedented territories, up another 3.17% at $45.58. Hecla Mining up 2.79% at $17.29 per share. First Majestic having another fantastic day after a correction yesterday at 4.26% at $15.68. And Fortuna Silver Mines up 3.01% at $9.58. Still trying to push that $10 range. Silvercorp Mining up 3.64%. Cleanly breaks $8 now at $8.11. And Dolly Varden up 4.59% after a few percent correction yesterday. Up better than 21 cents, sitting at $4.79 per share. Aforementioned gold up $45 an ounce to $53.40 per ounce, up 1.09%. Gold.com, which was Barrick Gold, and then B Gold, up 53 cents or 1.72% to $31.29 per share. And B2 Gold resurges up 3.07%, gaining better than 14 cents per share, up to $4.70 per share. Wow. Is our economy screwed? Oh, are we screwed? The higher this goes, the worse it is. And guys, this is one of those cases with gold and silver where that monthly time frame could be overbought for a very long time. We're going into an unprecedented time in history. Does the volume look like it's dying or growing in the monthly? Rising price, rising volume, recipe for bullish continuation. That's about as strong as you will ever see. We went from, well, it doesn't tell us, unfortunately. I wish it would. Did we just make the push? Look at this. We just seen $59 for the first time ever in silver, and we were live together. Silver hits a new all-time high as it continues to soar through discovery and taps $59. Wow. Wow. If it breaks out of this, the next technical move is I mean, I'm not saying that that's the next move in particular, but if it holds this, there's nothing in between. And you have to play off of the cup that was built because the handle now has fulfilled its target at 55. So the cup's target is at 93, but you have to fill out the handle target of 55 first. which it's filled, and hold, which we have. And then there's a mediocre level at 79 that we put in there just because it's a certain percentage between the 55 and 93 that left me believe that maybe we could retrace. Oh God, holy smokes! And they're trying to. It's going to be almost impossible to buy silver as a U.S. citizen soon, or across the world. I'm telling you, this is going to be some big shit here. This is a true indictment on what's coming. Oh man, this is bad. Oh, this is bad. I've talked about it many times. I mean, look how long it's been since we looked at the US dollar, and look how perfectly it followed the objective we have. Came right up to the 100 for a rejection. The $100 of the pairing. A rejection from this leads you down to 50 or 81.29. Can you imagine if the US dollar is at 81.29? Do you know what that means? That means everything is now 19% more expensive because the dollar is devalued by 19% more. That means the US dollar would devalue by 1/5 of its value. That means if you have $10,000 in the bank, if this drop happens, it's got the purchasing power of 8,100. That's brutal. For all of us who have cash for when we need it, or you've been saving up in cash because you save your change, that means it would have a 20% discount on each dollar you own. Now, I got to be careful with copper, though. It's different. Copper's had such a big run up in comparison to gold and silver, you know. So if this drops, essentially you would need, 25% if you want to mark it up a little bit to make up for the differential, but at least 20%. You would need at least 12,000 to be 10,000 if this happens. But remember, this is why I don't sell physical gold and silver. And the miners, we're just going to let them roll here because gold, silver, mining stocks, there's a big thing going on here. And as the US dollar gets devalued, I've always talked about this. I've talked about it for years. Gold and silver never actually goes up and down. The US dollar just becomes overinflated or it goes devalued. And right now, we've got a big problem here. So, but one more thing, I want to look at the crypto fear and greed index, and then I got to go. I've been on for an hour and 12 minutes. It's been fun. Very fun, actually. But, I got stuff to do while my son's at school and yada yada. I got to put out this TA for the hearing and visually impaired that I'm going to do immediately following this. Yeah. But I didn't want to put it out so early this morning. I wanted to try something different. Let the first 60-second TA have a few minutes, a couple hours, and then do that one. So the crypto fear and greed index. I don't like to look at that one. 28. In the next 8 hours and 18 minutes, it should come down. Can I look at targets for USDT dominance? Pay attention to MQ in the Telegram if you guys are in there. Because he does a phenomenal job with USDT dominance. Phenomenal. It's at 6.05. I've been under the illusion that if we didn't break down, which I think this is an inverse pattern, that it should come up here to about 8%. If it plays out. And this left shoulder head, right, this 3 bottoming formation, this is a bottom. If it plays out, now if it invalidates this, we're going to cook. Because then it could be a right shoulder. But it does show the optics of a possible inverse setting that's about to break up. The weekly's massively overbought. Monthly's overbought. But, you can position like this for a while. Look at the monthly. Volume's increasing. Or not, well, the volume is, but also the moving average convergence divergence is flipping a little bullish in the monthly for the first time in, holy shit. For the first time since May of 23, we have green candles. So, just be aware. Be aware. I like that LES is coming down. But ladies and gentlemen, haven't done this in a while, but when things are becoming unpredictable, when we're all getting nervous, when our own families are divided against us, ladies and gentlemen, I know what time it is. Do you know what time it is? Reappearing for the 4.5 years in a row, ladies and gentlemen, the sun. Sunny days are here again. Oh, sunny days. Oh, what a day. Oh, sunny days. Oh, what a day. I wear glasses 'cause I can't see a motherfucking thing. Happy days. Oh, happy days. Oh, what a day. Oh, happy days. Oh, what a day. XRP will reign supreme. Let's just not get caught in the FUD. Oh, we're gonna crash and we did and we will and we won't and we can't and it won't and it will and we can't and it won't and it will, but we did, but it hasn't, but it did and we won't and it will and it can and will and won't and can and oh yeah. Stay true, stay blessed. Remember the message. Bitcoin's trash. Biggest Ponzi scheme